Hello everyone, and welcome to my Stamina Templar PvP build guide. 5 months ago I already posted my first Templar video on this channel. Back then I was running Deadly Strike plus Stance Favor and double great swords with the Watesh great sword on the backbar. That build honestly felt very strong and bursty, to the point that I believe I could easily use it to this day and it still be good, but I've decided to try something else. Sets, skills and gameplay wise. So I've tried it. And I have to say, I like this build a lot. My first set on this build is the one and only Deadly Strike. This is the set you just can't go wrong with on Templar. It boosts jabs, it boosts beam, it's a medium armor, it doesn't have any weird proc conditions, just an amazing set and one of my favorite sets in the game in general. If for some reason you don't want to run Deadly, or maybe you just want to use something else, here are some other options. Stuhn's Favor synergizes well with top lane charge if you are going to use it, or with Dizzying Swing if you don't want to use jabs. I've seen some people play Stamplar like that, and it's fairly strong, but personally I haven't tried it yet, so I can't say for sure. Clever Alchemist is one of the best PvP sets for ages now, and it can work equally good on front or backbar. Ancient Dragon Guard is a very slept on set, according to ESO PvP YouTuber Iman the Chosen. I didn't try it myself, but it looks interesting and worth trying if you want to. Although keep in mind that it's a heavy armor. Shattered Fate is an interesting option as well. In my opinion though, Stuhn's just better. Even though it provides 1k less penetration, it also gives 260 weapon and spell damage. But instead of Fate, it requires no balance, while Fate doesn't. That's probably all the stuff I can suggest here instead of Deadly, but you can also come up with the set you personally like. I think a lot of stuff can work here. As my backbar set, I run Rallying Cry, one of the best PvP sets in the game, which gives both defense and offense. Here you can also run Wretched Vitality or Clever Alchemist. As my monster set, I run Balorgh, which gives me a lot of damage after I use my ultimate. Other options would be Engine Guardian and Roxa for sustain, or Selene for damage. And lastly, for my mythic I run Mark in Reign of Majesty and One Piece Trainee to fill the missing gap. I will put all the other build information on the screen, and we'll get to the skills, which is more important to talk about. And just before I'll talk about skills, I wanted to say one more thing. I actually tested another setup with the Stuhn's Favor and Selene, and I have to say it's amazing as well. Although I don't really see the difference between that and Deadly plus Balorgh. I'd say Stuhn's and Deadly kinda perform on the same level on Stamplar. It's really hard for me to say for sure because I'm on console and I don't have any fancy add-ons to tell me that. But just as I feel it, I'd say both are good. There is a difference, however, between Balorgh and Selene. Balorgh is probably better. Because of controlled and more reliable uptime, because of raw stats and bursts that gives you, and because you can't really escape it. Selene, however, is super fun to use, and I will definitely be playing with it and switching with Balorgh when I feel like it. But the drawback to Selene is that it has a cooldown of 6 seconds, however I feel like it's fair enough, and also that it can be avoided by good positioning. But when it hits, it hits. It's not some crazy damage, but I think it's about 11 to 12k buffed, if I'm not mistaken. Recently I was slapping people really nice with it, when I was able to land the combo of top lane charge followed by Dawnbreaker and Selene proccing at the same time. Then I just beam and the guy is dead. I like this set a lot because it's very satisfying to use and it looks cool aesthetically as well. Very recommend to try it out, nothing too insane, but very fun and strong enough. On the front bar I have Radiant Oppression, Camouflage Hunter, Biting Jabs, Repentance, Top Lane Charge, and as my ultimate I have Dawnbreaker of Smiting. On my original Stamplar build I had Power of the Light, but here I have Radiant Glory instead. There is a couple of reasons why I chose to do so. Firstly, I wanted to test something new, and I wanted to try beam specifically as well. Secondly, on my previous build I ran Stuhn's Favor and decided to not have any major breach skill because of that. And I had two-hander on my backbar as well. Here I run Ice Staff with Elemental Susceptibility, so I have major breach. I know that Power of the Light gives minor breach, but that's not my point. My point is that with Elemental Susceptibility and Power of the Light, that's a bit too much to apply to the target. Not really the playstyle I like. So I've decided to drop Power of the Light, and I can get Minor Breach with the Absorb Stamina enchant on my weapon instead. Thirdly, I also saw some people on YouTube not using Power of the Light. You can of course run it if you want, it's only up to you. Instead I chose Radiant Oppression, also known as Jesus Beam, and this thing hits very hard. I think that most of my kills on this build was possible only because of this skill. And it also allows you to finish your targets even on the big range. I absolutely love this skill. Camo Hunter is here as always for the passives and for my beloved Cloak Nail Blades, of course. Some people don't run it on Stamplar, but I like to run it on every build where I don't get this buff from any class skills. I think it's worth it. Biting Jabs is my spammable and probably my favorite skill in the game. Even though those nerfed it over the years, I still think it's amazing and very satisfying to use. This skill is what makes Templar a Templar, in my opinion. One more important thing about this skill is that it gives us major brutality and sorcery, so we don't need to run rally from two-hander skill line, degeneration or potions. Also, Jabs snares our opponents, which is also a good thing. Okay, this one may be controversial, but I like to run Repentance on my Stamplar. First of all, because I love that skill and think it's amazing, and second because of all the good stuff it gives, such as 3k stamina and HP for every fallen enemy when you activate the ability on them. And also it basically gives us 15% of magic, stamina and health recovery. And it's around 200 plus recovery if I'm not mistaken, which is a lot. And I do like my recoveries. So this skill, although it can be activated for some juicy resources, also gives them passively all the time. If you still don't like this idea, or for example you run Wretched Vitality or a recovery monster set, then you can easily run Race Against Time, Power of the Light or Living Dark in this place. Toppling Charge is our main CC skill, it stuns our enemies and puts them off balance. It's kinda a flex spot as well, but I highly recommend to use it since it's an amazing skill and a very good gap closer. Toppling Charge also gives us major protection for 4 seconds after activating the skill, which reduces our damage taken by 10%, which is very nice. If you want to run something else here, you can run Biting Javelin here, which is also good. I think both are viable options and depend a lot on your preference. As my ultimate I have Dawnbreaker of Smithing, which deals a lot of damage, also stuns enemies and gives me fighter skill passives. Here you can also use Templar's Sweep ultimate if you like. I used it on my previous build and it's quite fun and strong. On my backbar I have Honor the Dead, Extended Ritual, Resolving Vigor, Restoring Focus, Elemental Susceptibility, and as my ultimate I use Barrier. Honor the Dead is our emergency heal, it heals for quite a bit, but I don't recommend to spam it a lot because it eats a lot of magic. Extended Ritual is our heal over time and a cleanse, very good skill with a wide range. Resolving Vigor is a staple heal / pre-buff, which gives us minor resolve. Restoring Focus is yet another heal, which gives us major resolve this time and restores stamina. Now Rune also heals you even if you're not standing in it. Elemental Susceptibility is our major breach skill, as well as provider of a bunch of nice status effects. And for the ultimate here, I personally run Barrier, because I don't have such a guild leveled yet. To be honest, you can run either of those ultimates here. I feel like both provide their respective values. One gives an emergency heal and passive 10% magic recovery on your backbar, and the other one gives you a damage shield when you block and 5% damage reduction on your backbar. Here, instead of pros and cons, I'll just talk about important aspects of this class and give my opinions on them. Okay, let's start. Damage. I don't want to say that Templar has bad damage, but I also don't want to say that Templar has mind-blowing damage. I think, once again, it's about how you build it. The truth is that those nerfed jabs over the years, and now they are not as strong as they used to be. So sometimes they will perform well, and sometimes you'll just be doing lots of jabs to a person and barely do any damage. Especially if you will face a good DK player, there's not much you can do unless you do some cheeky combo. With all of that said, I think you can definitely do some nice damage. I like to look at it like this. If I like the class, and if I'm okay with not winning everyone and all the time, I just go for it. And honestly, I never had any problems with any classes as long as I'm having fun playing them. One more important thing to remember is that even though some classes might objectively be considered better than the others because of their skills and passives, it doesn't mean they will always win. because more often than not it depends on a player's skills and sets as well. Templar is fun to play. This moment alone is what makes this class worth it for me. Out of all classes I've played over the years, Templar is easily in my top 3, both in PvE and PvP. Other two being Sorc and Nightblade. Kinda hard to explain why they are fun, but if you know, you know. It's just about preference, I guess. How it feels to play them, their skills and themes, all that good stuff. With Templar you can do some nice damage, heal your group and provide clan synergy, help greatly with securing kills for yourself and for your teammates, and just be an all-around decent and enjoyable class to play. Simplicity. The way I play it, I think it's safe to say Templar has the easiest buffs and rotation in the game for PvP. Because it's just 3 buffs, Ritual, Rune and Vigor, and 3 damage skills, Toppling Charge, Jabs and Beam, with elemental susceptibility as well. And although maybe a lot of classes have more or less the same level of rotations, not all of them have such few buffs. For example, playing Warden or Necro feels like playing a piano with their applying 5 buffs every 10 seconds or so. Survivability. Templar has a lot of good heals in his toolkit. Strong heals over time, Rune and Ritual, Great Burst heal Honor the Dead, Living Dark that heals you every time you are taking damage, Repentance that also heals you for quite a bit and free to use. And on top of that you also have Minor Mending and some other nice passives from your healing skill tree. In recent Relics matches I was able to defend Relic against 2 to 4 people at once for quite a while, so I guess you can say it's pretty tanky. I think Templar especially is a lot about how you build it. Skills and sets will contribute massively to how this class plays and can make it stronger in different part of gameplay you personally want. I myself was quite happy about this build, it's nothing special at all of my sets except of Deadly are very standard for every build I have and I like to play it like this. But there is also room for experimenting with different skills, sets and playstyles which can affect your performance greatly. Overall, I like Templar, I like how it looks, how it feels and how it plays. Highly recommend you to give it a chance and try out different things to find out what works for you. Thank you all for watching and goodbye.